Stories like these are often dismissed as silly ghost stories or urban legends, but the ones I tell you are rooted in reality and come from actual places that you can visit. While travelling through the Scottish Highlands many years ago, I came across a ruined church in the middle of nowhere. It was an old stone building with broken windows and a roof that had caved in a long time ago. I didn't know its name, but it was clear from the moss-covered headstones nearby that it was a burial ground as well as a place of worship. And while I couldn't find any trace of life there, I could see all the evidence of life that once was. Sometime later, I read about a church in the area that was supposedly haunted by an old caretaker. The legend goes that he looked after the church and its graveyard until his death, but he continued to ring the bell at midnight every night to warn the living of the dangers that lay within. Apparently, those who heard the bell ringing knew not to enter the church as they would risk waking the angry spirit. It was said that if you walked into the church grounds at midnight and rang the bell yourself, then the caretaker would have no choice but to show himself and lead you on a tour of the graveyard, pointing out each grave and telling the story of each unfortunate soul who died there. And some say that if he takes a liking to you, he might even let you join him in his eternal rest. I couldn't help but wonder if this was the very church I had visited. Could the ruined building I saw be the same one that was supposedly haunted? And was the caretaker still there? All these questions ran through my mind as I made my way back to the church. It wasn't easy to find because it was deep in the Highlands, and the locals weren't exactly forthcoming when I asked them about it. They either pretended not to know what I was talking about or gave me directions that were clearly wrong. But eventually, after many false leads, I found myself standing before the old stone structure once more. This time, however, it was pitch black, and I couldn't see anything. I tried to peer through the broken windows, but all I saw was darkness. So I walked around to the side of the building and began to climb. I wasn't sure how far up I went, but eventually I reached a point where I could see the bell at the top of the tower. It was a large iron bell, maybe 4 feet in diameter, and it was covered in strange markings that I couldn't decipher. As I stood there looking at it, I could have sworn it rang once, but when I turned to look, there was nothing there. Maybe it was just the wind, or a bird, or anything but what I thought I had just heard. I decided to leave and go home. But as I climbed down the tower, I heard the bell ring again. This time I was sure of what I was hearing, but I didn't dare turn around to look. Instead, I kept climbing down until I was back on solid ground. And then I heard the bell ring again. Only this time, it was followed by another and another, until the sound echoed all around me. I didn't wait to hear any more of them. I turned and ran as fast as I could, making my way through the darkness, stumbling over roots and rocks, crashing through the undergrowth until I finally reached the road. When I stopped running, I could still hear the bells ringing in the distance. I don't know if they were calling me back or warning me to stay away, but I never went back, and I don't think anyone has ever been brave enough to go back and face whatever it is that's ringing the bells. Perhaps it is just an old abandoned church in the middle of nowhere. Or perhaps it is best that we do not know what lies within its crumbling walls. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to hear more spooky stories, then check out the playlist here. Thanks for watching.